Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the JustKenshi channel. So, into this video I'm doing a ranking of every single active Bleach game at the current moment. And these games will be Project Mugetsu, Reaper 2, Type Soul, and Peroxide. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit the video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. We're trying to 20k subs to this goal, and also join up my Discord server in the description of this video. So yeah, let's jump into it. So, how I'm gonna rank them: PvP, PvE, progression, and then also just like miscellaneous stuff later on. But yeah, let's jump into it. So, for progression, the first thing I'm going to do for progression is going to rank them from best to worst. Now, the one with the best progression at this current moment, in my personal opinion, is Peroxide, then Type Soul, then Project Mugetsu, then Reaper 2. Now, the reason I have Reaper 2 at the bottom is because Reaper 2 is very easy to grind. Like, you can get a max in Reaper 2 in like a few days. It's really easy. All you have to do is just bandit beat. But that's the issue, bandit beat. There's nothing else that you can do for Reaper 2 than just bandit beating and beating bosses. There's no other options. Like, for example, in Project Mugetsu, you have other options to just bandit beating after you reach, like, for example, if you're doing the hollow route. After you become a Vastacar, then you will have stuff to do, like you can do raids and etc. Now, Reaper 2 doesn't have that. All Reaper 2 has is basically you have to grind the NPCs, like the quests around the map, which will just make you fight NPCs, and some quests make you do some other stuff like go from one place to the next. But other than that, there's nothing fun in the game for the progression aspect. Like, there's nothing to do other than just bandit beat and finding bosses in Reaper 2. Project Mugetsu, on the other hand, Project Mugetsu has stuff like, for example, as I said before, Project Mugetsu has raid bosses, and they have game modes, which game modes help you gain like stats, for example, because if you play game modes, they have the potions, and the potion can give you level XP, it can give you meditation XP, so there's ways of you to get around just bandit beating, because you can just go to the game modes and do PvP, and you can gain potions to help you grind faster. Now, Reaper 2 doesn't have that. All Reaper 2 has is basically just bandit beat until you're max and have max prestige. Now, Type Soul. Now, Type Soul is above them merely because Type Soul is pretty fun, because Type Soul has an interesting progression that you can do. For example, if you're Shinigami, you can do the quest boards, and you can also have your division missions, which is also pretty much just quest boards, but for your division. Now, there's basically a lot of stuff that you can do in Type Soul to progress. Now, there's PvP, there's a lot of stuff that they make you do instead of just bandit beating, because you can do raids. Now, raids is a PvP game mode where you just have to fight like the other factions in it, and then the same can be done for everything else in that. Now, Peroxide is the best in my personal opinion because Peroxide has a lot more stuff. But yeah, the reason Peroxide is number one is because Peroxide has alternatives than doing the quest boards. For example, you can go to invasions. Invasions gives you good stats. You can also go do the time gates, because time gates have fun game modes, and the fun game modes basically at the end you can get rewards, and also you can get stats which will make you like grind faster. There's many ways of getting around just doing bandit beating in Peroxide compared to the other games, because in other games, no matter what, you will be bandit beating. For example, Reaper 2, you have to do the quest, and the quest will lead you to bandit beating. Project Mugetsu, most of the stuff will lead you to bandit beating except if you're doing game modes, and the same can be said for Type Soul, because Type Soul, one of the mission XP is to do quest boards, which is bandit beating. So Peroxide has alternatives. Literally, you can get max by only playing time gates in Peroxide if you wanted to, because time gates basically just help you a lot. But the thing with time gates is that they're every hour, so you can just do time gates and invasions, and boom, you're max. And plus, Type Soul, in my personal opinion, what they want to do is make the game a party game, because, you know, to even do anything in the game, you need to create a party. Now, in my personal opinion, Peroxide is more of a party game because invasions are more fun. But yeah, now we're done with the progression. Now, other than progression is obtainment methods. For example, how to get your res, bankai, and etc. Now, how I'm gonna rank these is basically at number 1, I have Reaper 2. Number 2, I have Project Mugetsu. Number 3, I have Peroxide, and number 4, I have Type Soul. Now, the reason I have these here is because, you know, Reaper 2, for one, is very easy. All you have to do is hit the max level, basically. Well, not the max level, but the level requirement for you to unlock your bankai and stuff. And then all you have to do is just unlock it in your skill tree, and then boom, you go fight your bankai and you have it. Easy said and done. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Reaper 2. Now, Project Mugetsu. Project Mugetsu 1 I like a lot. But the only thing I dislike about Project Mugetsu 1 is the fact that you have to meditate for like hours just to reach your bankai. But other than that, it's pretty fun. Well, there's ways of getting around the meditation. You can just do game modes and get meditation potions, which give you meditation levels. But other than that, Project Mugetsu 1 is pretty cool because it's very canon to the manga. For example, the bankai. For the bankai, all you gotta do is basically you have to find the right Zanpakuto. If you have the wrong Zanpakuto, it will break, and if you have the right one, it won't break. And to obtain it, it's very RNG, so a lot of people may not like it, because if you kill your bankai with the wrong Zanpakuto, you won't obtain bankai. So you need to find the right bankai, and you need to beat your Bankai with the right Soundpot tail. Then you will unlock it. There's nothing else you need to do after that. Now, Peroxide. Now, Peroxide 1 is very simple as well. All you gotta do is get level 90, then after you get level 90, make sure that you have Invasion XP or Time Gate XP, and then boom, you're done. Basically, the only problem I have with Peroxide 1 that I have it lower than, Project Mugetsu, is the fact that Peroxide has this very interesting feature where you have to constantly fight your Bankai for you to master it. You have to fight like 20 times to master your ability. Now, I know a lot of people would like enjoy this because get to train with your Bankai and stuff to make it, well, not guaranteed to have your Bankai at max as you get it. But yeah, a lot of people still enjoy it because you get XP every time you kill your mastery fight for Bankai res and etc. So it's pretty good. Now on to Type Soul. Now the reason Type Soul is at the bottom of the list is because Type Soul is a very long thing you have to do for your obtainment, and the fact that you have to do all this just to use your mode every 30 minutes compared to the other games that have like 5-minute cooldowns. And yeah, now let's jump into it. So for Type Soul, you have to do stuff like, first for step 1 you have to do raids and stuff, then for step 2 you have to make sure you complete all the tasks without dying, then after you do that you have to go to step 3, where step 3 is probably not that hard for stuff like, for example, I know a lot of people struggle on the parrying for Volkstanding and stuff. So out of all of them, the reason I have this at the lowest is because this one is the most time consuming and the most difficult compared to the rest. All the other ones are easy, but some people would like the more difficulty for unlocking like an in-game ability like Bankai and stuff. But yeah, now the rankings for PvP. Now for PvP, I have 1, Type Soul, 2, Peroxide, 3, Reaper 2, and number 4, Project Mugetsu. Now, I love Project Mugetsu, probably my second favorite Bleach game on Roblox. The thing that I dislike with Project Mugetsu, and something that I hope they change in the future by reworking it, is the PvP. The PvP in Project Mugetsu is terrible. One reason that people always tell me when I ask them why they do not play Project Mugetsu is because the PvP is terrible. It has too much stun, it's very wonky, and it's not that good for a PvP game. I know Project Mugetsu can be seen more of a PvE game than a PvP game, but PvP is, Roblox. Look at Roblox. The most popular anime games are all PvP games. Look at the Battlegrounds games. They're very popular because people just love PvP. Now, Project Mugetsu is way here because the combat is terrible. Like, I'm sorry, the combat is terrible. They need to rework the combat. The combat really needs a rework. It's not that good. Now, yeah, it's very full with a lot of stun and very overpowered clan abilities. It's just very bad. Like, there's nothing I can say about it. But on to the other one that we have here is Reaper 2. And the reason I have Reaper 2 here is the combat just feels very outdated. It feels very slow. It's nothing like against Reaper 2. I used to love Reaper 2 combat, but the combat now is very slow compared to other games. Now, Peroxide is a step up from Reaper 2 because Peroxide is more fast-paced, it's more fun, and there's more stuff that you can do. You have more freedom with your build than being locked behind just like skills of your race. There's a lot of like things that you can do. They have legendary skills to help you out in PvP and etc. There's a lot of stuff you can do in Peroxide. Now, Type Soul is number 1 because Type Soul you have a lot of build diversity. Now, you may not have as a lot of build diversity as Peroxide because Peroxide has like more options for builds, but at the end of the day, Type Soul is the best one because Type Soul, fast-paced, has good combos, and it's probably the funnest combat you will have in a Bleach game. It's the best Bleach game when it comes to combat, but yeah. Now, after that, we have PvE. Now for PvE, I have it as Type Soul, Peroxide, Project Mugetsu, and then Reaper 2. Now, Project Mugetsu and Reaper 2 doesn't have much things you can do for the PvP aspect other than just, fight NPCs. But they do have stuff like Project Mugetsu. Project Mugetsu, the other thing that you can do other than PvE is doing the game modes, but as I said, the game modes are merely focused on PvP. But now let's go on to Peroxide. Peroxide has other stuff you can do. For example, it has the invasions and stuff. And then for Type Soul, it has boss raids. And boss raids are pretty fun. And there's other PvE stuff you can do in Type Soul. Now lastly, we have miscellaneous stuff like visuals and, of course, models. Now for visuals, I have Project Mugetsu number 1. The visuals are just amazing. Like, if you guys seen how they did Nazarashi Bankai and Fear and stuff, the visual effects are just amazing in Project Mugetsu. Now, number 2, I have Peroxide. Peroxide visuals are insane. Like, you guys seen stuff like, Janemba Fullbring, that's pretty good. Then number 3, I have Type Soul. Type Soul's been up in your game on the VFX and stuff, so they've been looking better. And then lastly, I have Reaper 2. Now, Reaper 2 doesn't have bad VFX. Like, this is really good in their game. Just feels kind of old. They need to, like, up their game on the VFX. Then lastly, the models. Lastly, I have Number 1, we have Peroxide at 1. Peroxide at 1 is mainly because you have good customization in Peroxide. You can pretty much be any character you want. They give a lot of customization option, and then they also give you 3D clothing, which looks pretty nice. And then you have number 2, which is Reaper 2. Reaper 2 has good 3D clothing as well, and plus it's your avatar, so you can have as much freedom as you want with that. Then lastly, number 3, we have Project Mugetsu. Now I put Project Mugetsu here mainly because Project Mugetsu is pretty good, but Project Mugetsu doesn't give you that much freedom. The reason for that is because they have a lot of abilities and stuff, but the thing that Project Mugetsu lacks in my personal opinion is customization. There's not a lot of customization you can do. Like, they need to upgrade on the faces and the hairs that you can do for characters, because mainly the fact is there's a lot of abilities and you can't really cosplay as many of the characters because, you know, they have their hair but they might not have their face. So you need to up your game on that. And lastly, your Taisol. Now I know Taisol recently today just dropped new faces and stuff. They remade every single face, so you guys can have your personal opinion. But this is my ranking of every single beach game on Roblox. Tell me guys thoughts in the comments below on the ranking that I made, and also tell me guys your own personal list in the comments below. Could you sign off? Love y'all and peace.